Hey, what's going on? My name is Daniel Calderon and welcome back to Corner Talks. Aside from working on my business, 94 Productions, and pursuing a career in filmmaking, I have a hobby in drawing. Drawing has become my newfound passion. It is so liberating, therapeutic, whatever it may be the word. I just enjoy sitting in solitude, enjoying the peace and quiet of whether it's listening to a podcast, inspiring video, music, and looking at some of my favorite characters I grew up with, nostalgic characters, if you will, and getting lost in the moment. Having said that, this is volume 2 of taking a look at my artworks. Aside from Charizard, another favorite character of mine from the Pokemon series is Blastoise. Blastoise was one of the first mascots used in the Pokemon games. It was for blue version. So Charizard was for red version and Blastoise was for blue version. And as I was drawing this character, I started appreciating and admiring more of its design and the detail of it. You can see the blast cannons here. These were iconic. Everyone that knows the character, the silhouette of Blastoise, knows that it belongs to this character. But they were also very deadly, and eliminating opponents, whether it was in the series or the video games, people will tell you if they chose him as, someone on their party to beat their opponent. Just looking at him, just really seeing the stance and how he's presented to the viewer, you can get a sense of his stability, his strength, and that he was just a boulder. He was just something that cannot be moved. While Charizard, is my favorite, and while he has a different aesthetic to him because he's designed to be more agile, aerodynamic. This is the kind of guy that if you face him on the ground, you do not want to mess with. Again, you just appreciate, the strength, the arms and the shell, how the bulkness of it, and how the cannons protrude out of his back right here. You got his tail just like popping up over there. One thing I admire about the Pokemon series is the evolutions, and they go through stages. It's usually about 2, 3, even 4. With Blastoise, he has 3 evolutionary stages, and he starts off with a character called Squirtle. You may know him from pop culture, and Squirtle always had this outgoing, likable personality, very smooth character. He wore sunglasses at one point in the show, and I kind of always had a taking to him. It was just a very unique, interesting character with the personality he presented. And it was a lot of fun as a kid, watching these characters interact with one another. So another show that I absolutely loved as a child was YuGiOh. YuGiOh developed not only a show, but a trading card game where collectors would accumulate these cards, these pieces of paper, and when I was a child, I would duel with them, but then over time, they realized how much money they were worth. And to this day, I have cards that are worth in the hundreds. So you can imagine that over time, accumulating all these cards, you become almost like a collector and seeing the value in them and how much people will spend to kind of get a piece of their childhood, a piece of nostalgia. So the first character that I chose to draw from the YuGiOh series, and one of probably the most iconic ones, is Dark Magician. Dark Magician was the go-to card, kind of like the be-all end-all for our main character, Yugi, the protagonist of the series. He was a spellcaster. He had, very strong attack and defense points. Some people probably don't know what I'm talking about, but if you're familiar with the show, you know what I'm talking about, and that is he was a powerful card. And he was actually one of my first cards when I was a child to collect. I chose this as the first character because of sentimentality, the fact that, he's the first card that I ever owned. Also, he was very close to the main character who I always enjoyed watching, Yugi, and how he would defeat his enemies. He was responsible for a lot of battles in the show. The character was almost like a friend to Yugi. I know, bear with me, it's a piece of paper, it's a card, how could that be? But it is a show that's part of the imagination, the magic behind it. But in terms of the design of it, again, when I sketch these characters, you kind of appreciate, and I wanted to get the armor and the staff, because that's what made the character identifiable, as accurate as possible. So you got the shading, and I wanted to make it look like it was shining, so I, would erase certain areas and kind of shade certain spots, make it softer, make it kind of like a 3D image for the viewer to make you feel like you can actually like knock on this armor and it would make a noise. And then after drawing Dark Magician, I was so hyped up and proud of that sketch, I decided to go on to another iconic character, and that is the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And this character, for those of you that know or don't know about the show, is the most powerful card at the time. For nowadays, who knows what they're making or printing out. But at the time when I was a kid, this was the most powerful card you could have. Even more powerful than the Dark Magician, the previous drawing that I did before. And this card is the go-to card of the protagonist's rival. Not the villain of the series, but almost a rival, where always would compete, always would challenge the protagonist, either to be better or on his ethics, his principles, his knowledge of the game. And this character, the Blue Eyes White Dragon, again, another extremely rare card, both in the game and in real life. When I see it, I think of, me and my friends when we were kids, talking about the show, talking about this card. I remember when a lot of my friends were looking on the playground how to trade and get it. It was a card that brings me back now to my childhood, and it's very nostalgic. Thank you again for joining me on another Corner Talks. I really hope you enjoyed my discussion on these sketches I've created over the past year. These characters are nostalgic to me, like I've said before, and they're close to my heart. They remind me of my childhood, so I have a lot of fun expressing them on the page. If you desire to create or draw, use any sort of talent, I really encourage you to do it. Just in this time, it is the best time. We are home, we may have more time on our hands than usual. Find time for yourself, and you will see the results. You will see and discover what you're capable of. If you agree or disagree about these characters that I've drawn, my opinions about them, please leave your comments down below. I always love seeing your thoughts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Take care, and I'll see you soon.